back, ladies and gents. I'm back. Alright, and we're just gonna have a little conversation, a little calm conversation. Let me get back to my transcription here. Maybe we'll be graced with the presence of the kittens. Yeah. I think the microphone is working now too, so I apologize. I just don't like to shout. We've been through this 1,000 times, so hopefully you can hear me a bit better. So we are discussing like the who, what, where, and why, going about off the topic of Isaiah, because we're going into this very intense reading, and we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and we're happy to see it. But like, why do we have to read through all this turmoil, right? Why can't we just, live and let live and just go through the motions in life? I just want to ask you guys, like, how comfortable have you been? How comfortable has it been? Honestly, I will be honest with you. About when everything was basically on fire on all the social media pages, I downloaded about 5 games on my phone, and that's been my pastime, just playing the games on the phone. I did a few other things. You see, I'm entering the music business and becoming a little musician myself, so I have a lot of little things that I've been doing to keep busy. So, we have to find our joy. We have to return to our joy. And coming here to talk to you has been such a great joy in my life. So, like, when I was told, right, by Spirit, by the harbinger, I don't even know how to say that word, by Spirit, yes, Con, Mommy will let you outside. Come, baby. You want to go back outside because you're outside cat now, I know. Maybe, he says. I was told by Spirit vocally, verbally, okay, with vocal cords, audibly, to stop. Just stop. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything bad. You're doing great, but you need to stop. And I was taken aback because I was like, why do I have to stop? I was just getting into the rhythm. We didn't even finish the old. We did not finish the Old Testament. Why do I have to stop? And so I was a little bit taken aback, but I'm so glad that I did, because I was able to, kind of revisit myself a little bit and start some things up, and also give the social media a bit of a time to just blow up, I guess. But it was great, and don't feel bad for me leaving or you not listening, because we're here now, and it's like we never left. We're going to get back to how things should be. So I just did want to talk about, why religion, though? Like, why is that? I tried sharing some other things with you, and I'm glad you appreciate and love them. But, like, why are we going so hard on these religious subjects, especially the Abrahamic religions at this time? So we're just going to read what I had written to that question as a response. So religion comes from the books, right? The books. Like, that's what religion is founded upon. The texts that have been compiled divinely. That's just point blank period. Religion is not based upon the people who are in the organizations of power of religion. You think it's made up of people. You think religion is people. It's not people per se. It's spirit, and it's compiled into life experience through the texts. You can ask anyone who is religious, and they say they are religious because they read the texts and they're focused on their local communities surrounding them. Therefore, you may also run into people who do read the text but will not say they are religious, due to the fear of being associated with any of the evils of the organizations that surround and are truly not a part of any religious community. We know, right? We know that. So with that being said, why religion? In the study of the texts, we are learning the faiths, we are learning the history of the Spirit, and how the Spirit of truth travels. We are learning about our past lives, our ancestors, and our past mistakes, so we are not bound to repeating them. But hey, maybe we just like religion because it's old, or dislike it because of that very same reason. And in reality, religion really does humble us continually in order to help us understand where we come from and not to disregard or throw away the life journeys and realizations of those who came before us. So we're paying respect to our beginnings now, and who knows, maybe in a few thousand years we will have our descendants reading or downloading our information in the future. Our ancestors spoke, they composed, and they transcribed their messages. Today we read and write, record, post, publish, you name it. And in the future, our descendants may literally be able to surf the Akashic records instead of the internet. And our descendants may be able to find our stories, retelling our largest triumphs and defeats. And who knows, maybe it is your name that will be remembered. So what I don't want to portray is the fact that religion is one giant ego trip, but it just so happens that the Bible lists, a good handful of names, a handful of prophets. There's a fair amount of authors and some major and minor arcana and energies. So we have to ask ourselves, why is that? And we have to really think about that. Are we able to change the narrative, and are we able to move out from the old into the new? And this is a question that's open-ended. We're not posing any disrespect, but we are only able to do so by truly being able to understand what took place prior and to understand what people were narrating, talking, and telling about. It's God. It's God, okay? And the more we do not understand, the longer it will take us to transition into this new era of meaning. We should never reject or throw away what we do not understand and shrug off what people like you and I painstakingly took time to memorize, record, fact check. And how could we be all loving, all powerful, and all knowing forms of consciousness, but disrespect and disregard, or how could we demonize a whole segment of or group of believing people while being all loving and all powerful, right? Especially if we are intently focused on the evils of religion, with the inherent knowledge that that was the nature of our own doing as human beings. So if we want to change this narrative, we have to submit a heavy amount of collective effort through understanding, through knowledge, through wisdom, all while having the confidence enough to stand up. Speak your truth. Okay? Post, publish, revolutionize, demonstrate. You don't have to be on here in social media doing this. It's the little things that add up, right? The little thought channels, right? That add up, the little actions that show people who you truly are. And most importantly, be humble, right? I say most importantly, prostrate, right? And what is prostration? We talked about the bow, right? The bow with the forehead, the nose, on the ground. You can use a mat or something. I go like this on the ground, hands down, knees down. Try to get into this place of humility. Okay, and we're going to go into why, right, in a second. But we're going to read this verse from Proverbs 1:20. Out in the open, wisdom calls aloud. She raises her voice in the public square. The why religion question does have me skating over the most important and short answer, which is God. That's, why religion, God. But me, knowing you, knowing me, knowing you, may ask, well, why God? Like, why is it important to bow down, right, to this supreme being, right? Why is it so important? Well, with having talked much about the eternal grace and glory that God is, a better question may be, why not God? But I will get down to the large nub that is the question of why God. We are human, but we are not burdened and dimmed and dulled so much as to completely forget that we are eternal consciousness wrapped in these human space suits. Some are having these various revelations of our eternal consciousness and the fact that we are everything and everyone that is or ever was, even the worst of us, so that's why we must hold grace. I am you, you are me, and the question begins, why do we even answer or call on to this God? And it's funny, we mentioned the king of Assyria, he asked the same question. But saying no to God, I posted a thread about this one, but it's good, it makes a lot of sense. Saying no to God is like saying no to guidance, instruction, or even help. which is something we do, right? It is falling into the pit of snakes and not shouting for help because you think no one will hear you or that no one is there. It is falling into the pit of snakes and not bashing its head of the snake with a rock because we can't find the rock or the rock doesn't even exist. Saying no to God is the rejection of everyone that was ever kind to you. It's the rejection of your own family, your own offspring, your own community. It's the rejection of yourself, a rejection of your own power and potential. So if we cannot love God, which in my humble definition, it's somebody greater than I. That is God, right? Someone greater than I. And I have that, okay? I have that most definitely. If we cannot love God enough to submit to his wholeness and completeness, then we in turn are in opposition to receiving any knowledge and power and self-control. If we cannot submit in humility to another, then we cannot allow or have the capability to have others submit to us in humility. So this is the balance of existence itself. So this is the big esoteric, if you want to just go all the way down to the root, right, of knowing thyself. This is the balance of existence, right? God is someone greater than I, so we must practice humility, and I think most of my friends do a very, very fantastic job of doing so. So I'm very, very proud of you all for that, and I really do appreciate the humility that we all have and we all are conscious of. So I'm very, very happy with you all with that. So let us just go ahead and finish out this portion here of Isaiah. And I do have a few minutes, so if you want to drop off, feel free, but this will be what we get through over the next few minutes. Excuse me. Chapter 34, verse 1. This is Isaiah. Come near, you nations, and listen. Pay attention, you peoples. Let the earth hear all that is in it, the world and all that comes out of it. The sword of the Lord is bathed in blood, and it is covered with fat, the blood of lambs and goats, fat from the kidneys of rams. For the Lord has a sacrifice in Borza, and a great slaughter in the land of Edom. And the wild oxen will fall with them, the bull calves and the great bulls. Their land will be drenched with blood, and the dust will be soaked with fat. Look in the scroll of the Lord and read. None of these will be missing, not one will lack her mate. For it is his mouth that has given order, and his spirit will gather them together. He allots their portions, his hand distributes them by measure. They will possess it forever. They dwell there from generation to generation. The burning sand will become a pool, the thirsty ground bubbling springs. In the haunts where jackals once lay, grass and reeds and papyrus will grow. But if you say to me, we are depending on the Lord our God, isn't he the one whose high places and altars Hezekiah removed, saying to Judah and Jerusalem, you must worship before this altar? Do not listen to Hezekiah. This is what the king of Assyria says. Make peace and come out with me, then each of you will eat fruit from your own vine and fig tree, and drink water from your own cistern, until I come and take you to a land like your own, and a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards. So this is now the king of Assyria trying to topple over the people, right? He's giving these promises, and we're actually going to break down these promises because it sounds nice, right? Make peace and come to me. Each of you will have your own fruit from your own vine and fig tree, and drink water from your own cistern. But I'm going to actually break down what that exactly means, and I don't want you to take it out of context, even though we're going to be looking at it completely out of context. But we kind of have to remember the king of Assyria is a very domineering figure. Okay, he's very much domineering, so we're going to get into it. So when the king Hezekiah's officials came to Isaiah, Isaiah said to them, tell your master, this is what the Lord says. Do not be afraid of what you have heard. Those words with which the underlings of king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Listen, when he hears a certain report, I will make him want to return to his own country, and there I will have him cut with the sword. So give ear, Lord, and hear, open your eyes, Lord, and see. Listen to all the words Sennacherib has sent to ridicule the living God, and their people drained of power are dismayed and put to shame. They are like plants in the field, they are like tender grass shoots, like grass sprouting on the roof, scorched before it grows up. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, broke camp and withdrew. He returned to Nineveh and stayed there. This is the Lord's sign to you that the Lord will do what he has promised. Surely it was for my benefit that I suffered such anguish. In your love you kept me from the pit of destruction. You have put all my sins behind your back. Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, hear the word of the Almighty. The time will surely come when everything in your palace and all that your predecessors have stored up until this day will be carried off to Babylon. Nothing will be left, says the Lord. And some of your descendants, your own flesh and blood, who will be born into you, will be taken away, and they will become eunuchs in the palace of the king in Babylon. All the people are like grass, and all their faithfulness is like flowers of the field. The grass withers and the flowers fall, because of the breath of the Lord blows on them. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of the Lord endures forever. Okay, so we're going to pause here, and we're going to just break down, because I know it jumps around a little bit, so we're kind of like who, what, when, where, and why. But we're remembering the king of Assyria, right? So this is coming to pass, where the king of Assyria is coming and he's making all these promises, right? But he's making these promises, and it's a little bit like a double-edged sword. So this is what it really means, and we can kind of understand what this is saying. He's saying, eat from your own vine. So the king of Assyria is making these promises, which mean cannibalizing yourself. Eating from your own vine, you're literally eating yourself, you're cannibalizing yourself. And with all the rumors going on about things of that nature, I'm sure we can imagine what that's like. And drinking water from your own cistern is essentially like draining your own energy or devouring your own life force. It says you will come to a place much like the place you left, which means you're saying you're coming to a place much like the place you left, which is like, there's nothing special, right? And he's saying, yet I will provide you with new vices and abundance of material wealth and bread that will make you a sluggard, right? This is the king of Assyria talking, and the same one who was insulting the people of the wall. He said something to the Hezekiah's soldiers and servants, right, saying, you will eat your own excrement and drink your own urine. That's what it says in the Bible. And he mentioned a few lines prior. And so basically he's saying a lot of I, and I don't want you to take this like personally, right? We're not really talking about anybody in specific, truly. This is just, the kind of arcana that the king of Assyria is. Like, this is how, he is. I don't know how to explain it, but that's how he was back then. That's how he was back then, okay? I don't want to like draw any parallels here, but I just don't want you to take that bit out of context, because he's making these promises that are really beautiful, right? We love that, and we love to hear that, but we don't want to take it out of context. But that's really what he's talking about. He's basically saying, I will let you destroy yourselves, essentially. I will let you break yourselves down. I will let you, drain all of your energy and life force, even though he's making these promises and trying to get them on their side, right? His side. We can see through it, right? So now we have the knowledge to be able to see through those type of promises. Again, please don't be drawing any parallels. I'm not talking about like, being great. I'm talking about something else. But anyways, we are going to move on here, and I will let you go. We are going to talk about the hump of he and she next. So just like how we opened this up with like a where, what, why scenario, we talked a little bit about why religion, why God, right? We're going to get into a little bit more of the esoterical knowledge of, why God again, but like, why is he a he, and why is he so, aggressive in this, especially in this text, right? Why is he so aggressive, all of this stuff, and we'll come to understand a little bit more. We're going to talk about role models as well, and we're going to talk a little bit about idolatry again, just because it does come up here, and then we will finish Isaiah. And I'm not going to inundate you, even though you feel like sometimes I could do that. Okay, I'm not going to inundate you, but we'll try to finish Isaiah in good timing, okay? We're going to do it in good timing. It's a very long book. I'm looking at it now. But we are already done with 66. We really do not have that long, so we honestly could finish it tomorrow. Yeah, probably tomorrow or the day after. But again, I don't want to be talking into the future. Like, I know what the next day holds, because I certainly do not. Things can change on a dime. So I will let you guys be. I hate saying goodbye, but this is my moment of peace and silence, and I'm gonna go enjoy that. So I appreciate you for listening. Welcome back, welcome home, and I'll talk to you again very soon, my beautiful, lovely people. Bye.